right, the Cleveland Cavaliers get off the mat with an impressive 126-104 victory in Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indiana in Game 3 of the second round of the NBA playoffs. Anthony Moeglin alongside my partner, Spencer "Spin" Davies, who is obviously on site in Indianapolis. Spin, before we jump into all the game talk, which we want to get into, let's talk a little atmosphere here as the Pacers come home with a chance to take a commanding 3-0 lead. What was it like inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse? And it looked like, according to your Twitter, your first time being inside those walls.
Yeah, it was. It was my first time being here at this arena and also just in the city in general. And the vibes were really cool. You know, like a lot of people were up on their feet. They were pretty loud. I wouldn't say as loud as Cleveland, and I might be a little bit biased, but just saying. But I will say it was a good environment, and I think the crowd got louder as the game got tenser, and a lot of it had to do with the officiating, and I'm sure that we'll get into that. But, you know, when response runs were happening, you know, Pacers cut it down to 11 in the fourth quarter. TJ McConnell's firing everybody up. That was probably the loudest that it got in here. So I think that it was just a good, healthy home playoff crowd vibe.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But the Cavs come in there, they take care of business, 126-104. And we're getting a little crowd joining us in here tonight. So if you're jumping in tonight, jump into that comment section. Let us know what you thought about Cleveland's big win in Game 3. Get in there. We'll pull some of those up here towards the end. If you're watching it as a rerun in the morning or tomorrow afternoon, always appreciate the support. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you're not following us on X, make sure that you hit your follow button. Okay, Spin, let's talk basketball here. I prefaced you before we hit start here, but I told you pick one of our 5 starters because each one of them played awesome tonight. So who do you want to start with? I got a little something for any one of them. So it's dealer's choice. You're up. Pick who you want.
Max Strus was the talk of the town. Dude. in this post-game press conferences. Just the way that he just comes up in these moments, man. It's really something to behold when a lot of the time the people focus on the jump shot, what he brings, you know, on the offensive end of the floor. But that man was denying Tyrese Halliburton the ball the whole game, and he was ineffective. Tyrese Halliburton had 4 points and 5 assists, went 2 of 8 from the field, was a -20 on the floor. All of their starters really could not hold a candle to what the Cavs were able to do in their starting 5. But Max Strus was really the one that came out, set the tone, had the 8 points out of the gate, couple of threes, a nice drive to the basket, really good one more passes. If you know, like you look out at the swing passes out on the perimeter, also a nice lob to Evan Mobley for a dunk. He works the pocket really well, and just overall, it's just a ball mover, man. And then defensively, like I said, doing the job he did on Tyrese, really making it tough on him, denying him the ball, and even denying him a ball on a jump ball. So Max was just excellent tonight, and that's what you need from who you see as your 5th starter because you have your core 4. But man, he stood out tonight.
Spin 20 points on 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Now, when we talk about these Cavs, you know, you've watched every single game. I've watched every single game. We've seen a lot of these different flows of this season, a lot of different storylines. But one that always stands out, or I guess one that never stands out, is the leadership of Max Strus. This is a guy who night in, night out is, you know, going to get you somewhere between 10 and 20 points. He's never going to stand out on this Cavs roster. But I think if anybody watched this game tonight and really watch it with a critical eye, he's a real big reason why Cleveland was not only able to build a big lead early, but was able to sustain it. His toughness, his rebounding, like you said, his defensive presence, and his like just big shot making, right? Comes out, hits the first 3 of the game, and like literally like takes the nervousness out of the Cavs roster. And it's like, all right, everyone take a deep breath. I got us early. And I'm going to be a leader for this team. And you start with Max Strus. I thought he was spectacular tonight. And he's not going to be the guy who scores 43 points like Donovan Mitchell or the guy that has the flashy play, but he's always going to have the right play. And tonight was another perfect example of that.
Timely. And I'll just leave it at this with Max. Kenny just described him as their forceful leader. He's become their forceful leader. And that's the closest thing that you could really say as they have to an enforcer, right? Like, because that's always the talk in the playoffs. Who's your enforcer on your team? You see James Johnson gets put in with the last 5 minutes remaining, the game's out of reach. I'm sure that we're going to get into that too.
Dude.
But you can go there now. You can go.
We're not going to air our text messages here, but Jerome, if you're watching from wherever you're at in the world, you guys know I was fired up when they put those guys in at the end there.
Gamesmanship from Rick Carlisle. What can we say?
It's something. And whoever you were going to start with, I was going to Donovan Mitchell second because we're not going to bury the lead here. Donovan Mitchell was special again tonight. 43 points, 14 of 29 from the field. Still doesn't have it right from behind the arc, but at least had some falling tonight. 5 of 13 from behind the arc, 10 of 14 from the line, 9 total rebounds, 5 offensive boards, 5 assists on the night. And dude, he was everything that you needed, right? This was as big of a game as he's had in Cleveland, as this team's had all season. And in the second game in a row that this team's had their back against the wall, he puts up another 40-piece and just willed this team to victory, man. This guy, Donovan Mitchell, is a special, special player, and he's marking himself in Cleveland Cavaliers history as one of the best Cavs to ever put on a Cleveland uniform.
You just talked about it, man. He just laid it all on the line in Cleveland just a few days ago. He's cramping on the sidelines. It looks like physically he's exhausted, needs to get an IV after the game. There's nothing left in the tank, right? Wrong. Tonight, he looked absolutely fantastic physically to me. And I disagree with you. I think his 3-ball and his jump shot in general looked great. I thought that he was getting lift. I think that his release point was great. I thought that combined with the way he was driving the basketball, it looked like he had more pep in the step. And that happens when you get 2.5 days of rest in between. Even though there's travel involved, you're still giving the body a little bit of time to recoup. And I think that really showed tonight. And I think he is the perfect example of when you combine power with grace. And the way he is able to nimbly get by guys, but also just truck through. I don't even know how to describe it, the way that he puts the ball on the floor. And then you mentioned the 5 assists. Look at the job he did at spraying out to the guys late when they started to crash on him in the paint. Dean Wade had one he should have made. You look at a couple he had to Sam that Sam should have made. Sam had a good game tonight, though. We're going to get to that. But, I mean, some no-look passes that one time he was coming from I want to say it was the right corner, drove to the middle. I thought he was going to take a hook shot, and he found Max for a three-pointer. That was in the midst of his run to answer Indiana cutting it down to 11, which was critical because he was talking about, look, it's happening again, but we're not going to let it happen. And in the huddle, everyone stayed composed, and he pushed them across the finish line. Oh, my goodness. The last play he had, I don't think anyone's going to remember. But when the Cavs are up by 17, 18 points, whatever it was, he goes and fronts in the post and gets a steal to really make sure that the white flag is being waved. And what else more could you want from your superstar to do something like that after bringing everyone back? You could easily take plays off. The game's over by that point. That just shows me the kind of player that he is and the kind of leader he is.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And when you look at it from a comparison standpoint, I'm going to pull something up here. Didn't prep you with this, and excuse my amateur photo here. I pulled this right off the TV in the living room. But
I can't see it, Megs. I'm on the other side of the camera.
It's the straight comparison. It's Donovan Mitchell. You didn't see this because you were not watching it on TV like me. It was it's Donovan Mitchell with 40 points on 14 of 28 from the field, compared directly to Tyrese Halliburton's 4 points on 2 of 8, 0 of 1 from behind the arc. And that's just what it is, man. This isn't a pile on Tyrese Halliburton segment here. I obviously think Tyrese is an incredible player. He's awesome for Indiana, and the Cavs are still going to have their hands full with him. But when the Cavs needed it most, back-to-back nights, and it's been Donovan Mitchell, and it's been 48 points in a loss, and it's been 43 points in a big win. It's just the leadership that this guy continues to show is unbelievable, and they're still going to need it, right? We'll get to this at the end. Job's not even finished, right? Job's not even close to finished. Job's just getting started. But that anytime that 45's on the court and he's wearing a Cleveland Cavaliers uniform, that you're going to have a chance here. Anthony Moeglin, Spencer German here, recapping this huge Game 3 victory. So if you're just jumping in with us, make sure like, subscribe, follow right along, and jump into that comment section. Let us know what you thought. Spin, we're going to change direction here. We talked a little guards. We're going to go into the post. We're going to go into the front court. We got Evan Mobley back on the floor for us tonight, along with Jared Allen, and those two were spectacular. Both of them. Or Evan Mobley, 13 rebounds. Jared Allen, 12 rebounds on the night. Jared Allen was a team best, plus 38 when he was on the court. That's a plus 38. And he had a tough assignment. Miles Turner is an awesome player, and Miles Turner got off early on. He had 12 of their first 20 points, but Jared Allen stayed in it. Evan Mobley, you couldn't emphasize the impact that he had in his return from injury. I thought our two guys in the middle were incredible, and a big reason why Cleveland was able to get this big win.
Tower City just came to play, man, and it was just controlling the glass. You mentioned it, but I just look at this. Even the ones they didn't get, they're in there mixing it up, tipping it out to guys, or at least getting a poke on it and having somebody else come and grab it. And I think 18-4 in the offensive glass department, you can look right directly in the eyes of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley for that. They were just all over the boards today, all over the boards, and that was a huge part of this because – if you look at the difference in the possession game, the Cavs had 20 more field goal attempts than Indiana did. And a lot of that had to do with the offensive boards. You look at the second chance department. Makes sense, right? 31-9, they outscore them in the second chance department. And that's controlling the possessions, controlling the glass. And a lot of that has to do with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I know some people were curious about Evan Mobley, how he's going to be moving on that ankle. I thought he looked terrific tonight. He's still not all the way back, admittedly. He said that in the post-game press conference, but damn sure good enough. And he looks like he's put a couple on the floor. He knocked down a three. He also was just defensive player of the year immediately in that first quarter. Just the Cavs starting five obliterated the Pacers starting five. That was the story of this game. Like I know that we're just going player by player, but the real is the starters absolutely obliterated their starters. And I think that seeing that, especially in a series where I thought it would be one big and four shooters for the Cavs, and seeing that now that the two bigs formula could work if they control the glass and they defend the way they do and slow the pace down, I mean, thinking a little bit. Dude. Maybe I was wrong, I don't know. But I feel like that was a huge part of it. Those two in the middle, why the starting five played so well together. And again, we talked about Max Strus's contributions, but in particular, Evan was fantastic. I can't tell you how hard those blocks looked on Halliburton at the absolute apex off of his feet, like not even getting a running start, just vertical contests that turn into blocks, but he keeps it in play. He's just so smart, and he's so gifted. He had 3 steals tonight too. J.A. we know has quick hands and does his thing defensively. Like, they're a tough duo.
Dude, it's amazing. And there's a couple things I want to unpack there. The first one that I want to touch on real quickly is the rebounds, right? The Cleveland out-rebounded Indiana 56-37. Just right there alone. You already touched on the number on the offensive rebounds to the offensive rebound comparison, but just in total, almost 19 more rebounds from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And, those two guys in the middle, Evan and J.A. were the only two guys in the game that had double-digit rebounds. The high rebounder on Indiana's side, it was Miles Turner, and he had 3 rebounds. Or excuse me, no, it was Nesmith who had 7 rebounds. So like that, just right there, just those extra possessions. And then Spin, you talk about how much the Cleveland starting five dominated this game. Every one of the Cleveland guys, and this isn't we're not a plus minus podcast, right? This is not, but I love the plus minus. I love looking at the plus minus. The Cleveland's worst player in the plus minus category was DG, who was plus 10. Indiana's best player and best starter in plus minus was a minus 14. So it was just total domination. JA led the way as a plus 38. There was just so much good that came from Cleveland starters. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about and get your perspective on was Darius Garland, right? It just felt like to me, Spin, that he had such a pace to him. Like, I think he's got, there's some like, he's got to come back. He missed 4 games. He's missed 2 weeks, but the speed he was playing at was so evident tonight, and it was just such this nice change of pace. And then he had a couple threes, a couple timely shots, a couple timely possessions that I thought were so valuable to the Cavs as they were either fighting off a Pacers run or building out a Cavs lead. I thought DG was awesome again tonight.
Somebody else that's crossing the half court with the ball than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's the importance of it. I don't know if you're going to see DG have the numbers that we're used to seeing because that toe is really bothering him. You listen to his post-game press conference, his first one in a couple of weeks, the last time we heard from him, he said, y'all have no idea what I'm going through. So clearly he is gutting this out, and still just the threat of Darius Garland getting to dribble by guys on the perimeter, drawing attention and skipping it out to his teammates, like that is invaluable for someone like Donovan Mitchell, who had a 50% usage in game 2. 50. Yeah. So you need to take that load off of him, especially because Ty Jerome's been struggling in the series. So you have to have somebody else, another guard that's able to ease the pressure off you a little bit. And I think Darius Garland's presence is why Donovan Mitchell was able to help push the Cavs by, because he wasn't fatigued.
Yeah.
So I think that all works out together. I think Darius will find it a little bit more. He'll have to get acclimated to it because it's a pain tolerance thing. You have to figure it out. And, he had a couple of times where he fell and he was slow to get up, and he's clearly not 100%, but he's given it, his all. And I know it wasn't the prettiest tonight for Darius, but it was also still very effective because of the attention that he draws.
Spin two things. Two things there. First and foremost, we have to have a conversation. Everyone's saying that DG is soft for a toe injury. I don't want to hear that. This dude is a cat who got his jaw broken last year and had to eat out of a straw for 2 months as his jaw was getting rewired. I don't want to hear that he's soft because it's a toe injury. Go bang your toe into a wall and see if you can walk up the steps, right? Like that's this is a real world thing, man, where he's fighting through this. And yeah, it's not the biggest injury of all time, but it is something that impacts you on every single step you take. And obviously basketball's played on 2 feet. So I don't want to hear that. The second thing,
he's stop start. That's the biggest thing. He's a stop starter. He's shift left, right. He is not one pace. He has a lot of different paces, and he changes speeds a lot. So that's also a big reason why.
And Spin, the best thing that he does, his chemistry with the 2 Cleveland bigs, with Evan and JA, is something to behold. He got Kevin Durant to tweet for the first time in 3 weeks with his no-look pass to Evan Mobley. I don't think there's no way you saw it if you were in the arena, but KD tweeted, and this was right when he made it. He said that was one of them passes, Darius. Goodness gracious. And it was the one where he went middle. He went from the left wing, drove to the middle, got to the free throw line, and then hit him with the one of these like no look, like, and he just let it fly to Evan. And it was a perfect anticipation. Evan caught it, jammed that thing home, and you're like, yeah, when DG's on the court, it's a different basketball team, Spin.
I agree. Offensively, especially, just the diversity of the offense is how Donovan Mitchell put it this morning. And now you have DG bringing the ball up. You don't have to worry about just playing football and getting to the free throw line 20, 21 times. I know that Donovan had another night getting to the free throw line tonight, but I mean, sheesh, that was one of the most old school 48 balls I've ever seen in my life in game 2. And that just completely different, feel when DG's out there, when Evan's able to handle the ball, and anyone can relieve pressure off of Donovan, not having to to carry the burden so much.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And apologies, I'm looking away. Spin, you can't see this, but I'm looking away here. We got overtime in Denver and OKC. Aaron Gordon just missed a game winner. But we are now 2 minutes into OT. Denver
he already hit one.
Denver has a 109-102 lead currently right now over the OKC Thunder. So something to that we'll keep our eyes on, and we'll get to that here in a little bit as we'll do a quick NBA whip around here. But one more positive spin, and then we'll have a real conversation here. We're going to go to the bench. Sam Merrill is a name that in all of the post-game interviews, you've talked about it a little bit. Find them all on our YouTube channel. I'm going to link them into this show description here. So if you're watching in the morning, just click right below. All of the post-game interviews will be linked right in this description. But Sam Merrill was a name that came up a number of times in those post-game post-game pressers. Talk about his impact tonight.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm glad I was the only one to bring up Sam tonight, because everyone wanted to talk about everything else. And Sam, to me, defensively, his intensity and his ability to body up, even though he's not the biggest guy, he's asking for these matchups. If Donovan's like calling for a switch on the court, Sam's telling him, "Screw off, I got this." Yeah. And I think that mentality has really seeped in to the respect that he's earned from his teammates. And I think the biggest play of today, at least in my eyes, was when Obi Toppin had a breakaway.
Dude.
Sam went from this end of the floor and sprinted down there, and it was called a foul on Sam Merrill. I don't know if that was the right call, what it was, or whatever, but he hustled his butt off to the other end, made a play on the ball. Obi Toppin, one of the most athletic players in this series, and he was able to get a stop on that, or at least send him to the free throw line. From the position he was at on the floor to get all the way down there and do that, that just shows you the dedication that Sam has. And I know that, we were going to address that there, but I wanted to also get into the 3-2 zone, which was a big part that Sam played too. Because they had Evan and Mobley in the middle, and then they also had Don and Sam on the edges of it, and it really screwed with Indiana. They couldn't figure it out.
Spin. We're going to take a step back. That play that he made, we're not going to get into the refs, because we'll be going until 3 a.m. Because it was baloney for most of the night. But that play was, you forget, it was off of his miss. So he missed the 3 in the corner. That's where that fast break started. Indiana has a run out, and that's an easy, not even just a layup for Obi Toppin. That is a through the legs, Vince Carter, hang your elbow in the rim type dunk for Obi Toppin. And instead, Sam put his head down, chased it down. It should have been Cavs ball. Instead, Cleveland challenge it. Make this make sense, Spence, for me, please. Cleveland challenges it, and all of a sudden the challenge goes from, hey, not only is it not your ball, but your guard has a foul, and Indiana shooting free throws. Make that make sense to me. Again, all right. I digress. We're not talking refs, but the point is on that is the hustle there from Sam Merrill. And Spin, you bring it up. Let's talk a little bit about that zone, because Cleveland really threw the curveball out at Indiana. Right? They needed to switch something up. They throw that zone out there in the second quarter, and they hold Indiana to 13 points in that second quarter. They won the second quarter 34-13. In a game you win by 22 points, a quarter you win by 21 is a pretty damn big deal. And they did that in the second quarter. It was a lot to do with that zone switch up that they went to.
Yeah, and Kenny dug into that in deep detail. So if you want to look at our post-game press conference that we recorded here, please do. But basically sum it up for you. Kenny said, we can't play our traditional zone against these guys. They play 5 out. It's not easy because they just pass the ball so much. Mm-hmm. And they addressed it as pinging the ball around. Ping, 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 ping. So what did he do? He put out length out on the perimeter. 3 guys in the middle, 2 back. And it doesn't make it easy on Indiana to move it as much or get it around to their spots as much. So that's kind of stifled them in a way. And there were points of this game today where Indiana was like, what the hell are we watching? What are we supposed to do here? This is completely different than any other zone that we've seen. I've seen the Cavs play box and one too, for a few possessions here and there. So Kenny's mixing up coverages like a defensive coordinator would mix up coverages against a quarterback. Like and that seeing that just tells me that he adjusts. His coaching staff adjusts, and the team is able to adjust. Which, again, no one-trick ponies here. You figure out a way, and you find something that works, stick to it, and execute. And that's what they did with that 3-2 zone. And I'm sure that we're going to see more of it because it was very effective.
It was very effective. And frankly, like on the other side of things, Indiana's going to have an answer for it. And that's the encouraging part. What you said is that Kenny and this staff have shown the ability to make changes, right? And that's what playoff series are about. That's what it's all about. Spin, before we get to the feel of this series, let's have a real conversation here about Ty Jerome. Another really tough night for Ty off the bench. Shoots 1 of 8 from the field. Looks like he's searching for something. Even in those garbage minutes when he came back in, he chucked up a couple threes just to try to get into rhythm, and they were still a little bit off. Not Ty's best night. 0-4 from 3, only 1 rebound, no assists on the night, 3 turnovers, and 2 points. What are you seeing from Ty? Are you hitting the panic button quite yet on Ty? And where are you feeling right now with our backup point guard?
Maybe in this series, and this happens a lot with non-core players. Sometimes you just don't have a good matchup. And I know that sounds like a cliche, and I hate the matchup thing. But to me, guys like Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith, they're just too quick-footed for him. Ty plays at an unorthodox pace. He's not fast per se. He's good and crafty in where he gets to his spots. But I feel like those guys have stayed in front of him so well, and they forced him into places to be uncomfortable. And then defensively, I think Ty is getting pretty chopped up. Yeah. So I feel like the combination of those two things, and Ty just straight up missing his floaters. I mean, he made his first one tonight, and it looked good.
Yeah.
But he's just not comfortable, and he is not worried. His teammates are not worried about him. You know what he's done all year long. There's a very small sample size. There's 3 games. But Sam, he's a little more athletic, and he's a little bit faster. And he's really solid defensively. Again, Sam is not just a 3-point shooter. There's so many people that want to pigeonhole this guy, and he has worked his butt off to get to this point, and his teammates can't talk enough about it. So the fact that Sam can get in there when Ty's struggling just shows you the depth of the team.
Spin, I'd even throw another name out there, like Craig Porter Jr. When do you go? And again, like you said, it's matchup focused. Like CPJ, a little bit smaller, a little bit less experienced, but a little bit more quick on his feet, right? Like that is a guy who could potentially match up with some of these Pacers guards, maybe a little bit better. Again, ultimately, like Ty is still, you're going to go to Ty first off the bench, right? Like that's who you're going with off the bench. But he does need to start making shots here, especially as we get into the game. We'll go live update here as we switch topics of our conversation. The Denver Nuggets just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in overtime. They take a 2-1 lead in this series. And Spin, as we hit 1 a.m. on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time here, let's talk about this series.
For a 7:30 game, by the way.
Yeah, 7:30 game. Hey, Spin, we don't say it enough. Every time I'm on, I know Jerome doesn't say it. He doesn't give you your flowers. You're the hardest working man in show business in Cleveland, Ohio. I'll always tell you that. I know our guy Jerome won't. But Spin, this series, right? I talked about it at the front. I think back to that Kobe clip of he's at the podium in the finals, and reporter asked him, "Hey, you happy?" And he goes, "Why would I be happy? Job's not finished, right?" He's up 2-0 in the series. This is a nice win. This is a really nice win. But the reality of the situation is Cleveland's down 2-1, and they still have a game on Mother's Day on Sunday night in that very arena that you're in, and it's going to be a hostile environment. That is truthfully, Spin, a must win. You're not going back to Cleveland down 3-1. You have to win on Sunday night. What is your feel right now on this series, coming off of this big win, off of 2 close losses that Cleveland feels they probably should have won both games, but they didn't, and their backs are still against the wall even after a very inspiring performance tonight?
Just the same sense of urgency. And I'm going to mention this to you, Megs, because we haven't really talked about it. The Cavs shot sub 30% from deep tonight again.
Again.
And they won by 22 this time.
Mm-hmm.
They won by 22 this time. What does that tell you? If they're able to find any semblance of a rhythm from beyond the arc, this could very well turn in a hurry, especially if they found something defensively that works against Tyrese Halliburton. Pascal Siakam did come alive in the fourth quarter, and they got to make sure to keep an eye on him. He gets moving off ball, does that well. He's obviously a solid ISO player. But you take Tyrese Halliburton out of the picture, you're asking a lot of Pascal Siakam. You're asking a lot of Miles Turner. And obviously Andrew Nembhard's going to be the straw that stirs the drink. But, Benedict Mathurin, solid 23 points today and really stirring the pot. We haven't gotten into that yet either. The Cavs love Benedict Mathurin. But I'm interested to see, where this goes on Sunday. Based on what I've seen tonight, and honestly in game 2, I don't know. I think the Cavs win. Do you? I just think they're a better team.
They play. That's the frustrating part, Spin. You look back at this series as a whole. 3 games in, you look at game 1. The Pacers needed 55% from the field and 53% from behind the arc to beat a Cavs team that only hit 9 threes. The first time all season where they didn't hit more than double-digit threes all year, to only beat them by 9. Right, so you're in that one, you're okay, tough loss, whatever. And then you have the debacle that was game 2, right? Up 20, the whole thing, all of the lane violations, all that stuff that happened. And you're another one slipped away. So now it's yeah, I think you could pull just about anybody who watches basketball, who has ever seen basketball. You're all right, one team's better than the other here, but the team that may not be the best on paper is up 2-1 in the series. So it doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters if Cleveland lays an egg on Sunday night. And that's what, and I think that what's really positive about that is, I was thinking back to all of the press conferences that you recorded, that I recorded all throughout the year. I remember being out in Los Angeles where the Cavs were on a 13-game winner, and Donovan was cool, it doesn't matter. None of that shit matters, excuse me. But it doesn't matter because we're not, if we don't accomplish our ultimate goal, this awesome regular season doesn't matter. And that's been their approach all year long. So as their backs are against the wall right now, Spin, I know for a fact that they're going to have the right mindset coming into Sunday night.
Most definitely. They've shown me nothing other than that to expect. And Donovan is the one that's hard-headed in that way.
Yeah.
And he's
hard-headed, frustratingly hard-headed in that.
Yeah. It's almost to the point where it's dude, enjoy something. For
smile, brother. Smile, yeah. Dude. This is cool.
But that's a good mentality for him to have because he's grounded. He's always even-keeled. He's always measured, win, loss. Even after game 2, everyone was frustrated. But even when you look at how he's talking, it's very mellowed out. It's a good quality to have. And he understands the assignment. I think that's why. And I mean, he's shown you the last 2 games, the entire series really, but the last couple in particular, man, back-to-back 40 bombs, just doing a heck of a job pacing the team and in the locker room, uplifting everyone around you and making sure when they respond that you respond right back. And it's always about responding to failure. It's responding to victory. It's everything. It's always just keeping the focus.
Spin.
And Donovan is the one that's helping that.
Yeah, he's running that. I pulled up on the screen there as you were talking the same photo I shared earlier, but he's got this this just scowl look on his face. It reminds you of that Miami LeBron photo where he was just so locked in. It just feels like Donovan right now is on this mission, man, and he's not gonna let it go any other way. And I was talking with my dad about this tonight. I'm obviously not in my home court. I'm in a road game right now at my parents' house. A reminder, a PSA to all you guys, everyone out there watching, Mother's Day weekend, get your flowers now. Get them in the morning when you wake up. First thing you do, get those flowers for mom. But was with my dad tonight. I'm like, hey, you can't win game 4, 5, or 6 tonight. All you can do is win game 3. And guess what? On Sunday, the only thing you can do is win Game 4, and that's going to be the only thing on Cleveland's mind here. So, Spin, before we put a bow on this one tonight, let's do a quick whip around here. We haven't talked. Obviously, every time we talk, it's Cavs focus, but let's spin around the NBA. There's 4 series going on right now. There's one massive one that's going to Madison Square Garden tomorrow afternoon. What do we make of this ridiculous Knicks Celtics series right now?
I mean, I just can't believe that the same exact thing happened to Boston that happened to Cleveland the day before. That was what is going on in this league right now?
Crazy.
I mean, Boston should be shooting better. We know that. But they're also kind of banged up. They're playing through their injuries, but we know Jaylen Brown's banged up. We know Jason Tatum's banged up. Kristaps Porzingis dealing with an illness. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But New York built their team to mirror or defeat Boston. They got a bunch of wings. They went away from the just straight up grittiness. They wanted to kind of have more balance. And you saw like what Mikal Bridges was able to do, these last couple of games, like big time. OG Anunoby, big time. We obviously know what Jalen Brunson's capable of and taking a team home in a series, like what he did in Detroit. Like, I think that like it's just it's going to be a good series. I think that very, very important game in MSG. Very important game for Game 3.
Dude, I think MSG is going to be a circus tomorrow. I have today, now that we're looking at 1:10 a.m., but I think it's going to be a very similar feel. I think once Boston, like, it clicks, and there's a real world where they boat race tomorrow and they win by 35. Like that's a real thing, and I think that is not only possible. I think it's likely that something like that's going to happen. So that's an interesting series. Flipping over to the West, obviously just went final, like I just shared. Nuggets take a 2-1 lead after a 113-104 win over the Thunder, off the heels of a Thunder win that was like as dominant as you could be. They're up 40 at one point,
and that just shows you the playoffs, though, man. There is nothing like momentum,
dude.
Is not something that it is. Every game is its own entity, and I learned that when I was covering LeBron for Cleveland. Like, you could get blown out by 30 in one playoff game, and you can win by 30 the next playoff game, and it's just all in that moment. Like, it's not like you string together winning streaks like in the regular season. Like it is one game at a time, like you just said, and that's how they're going to have to address these ones coming up.
And Spin, like it or not, like it's a star-driven league, right? And guess what? In these moments, right? It's been great all year long, right? This is so good for the Cavs. Like all year long, Donovan's taken a back seat to like let everyone else grow. But when he's been needed the most, hey, 48-43. Jokic just did the same damn thing right now. He didn't have a good game, but just showed up in the fourth quarter to win the basketball game. And then you go to that last series, Spin, at Golden State and Minnesota. You got Ant-Man, who's on a worldwide mission to kill everything in his path. And then Steph gets injured after they have a huge game 1 win. And it's like, if he's out for the whole series, it's a gentleman's sweep in favor of the Timberwolves. Like, that's a massive one out west in that series there too.
You would think so, but I'm never going to bet against playoff Jimmy. I know he said he plays.
I'm betting against playoff Jimmy. I'm betting against playoff Draymond every single time. As long as Steph's not on the court, all those guys are just normal dudes.
Hey, you know what? I don't think Jimmy's a normal dude. I'm just saying. I think Jimmy's still got that in the tank left.
Yeah.
But with Minnie though, man, hopefully Anthony Edwards' ankle's okay. I know he went down and played through it the rest of that half, and really helped push his team towards win. Man, what a playoffs that Jaden McDaniels has had. Very fun to watch him. Dante DiVincenzo, an irritant but a hell of a basketball player.
Yeah,
if he's on your side, and you know me, man, I love me some Nas Reed. Could watch Nas Reed play all day, baby.
All right, Spin. A little bit longer than probably you wanted, so appreciate you hanging out tonight and everyone who jumped in live with us. Obviously, always love the support. If you're watching us tomorrow morning, hopefully you had a nice breakfast, maybe a coffee, maybe a bagel, and are recapping the Cavs 126-104 victory. Spin, you got a couple days in Indy. What's on tap tomorrow? What's on tap Sunday as you guys wait a nice long time till 8 p.m. on Sunday night?
Well, I know that there's a big race here tomorrow. I'm probably not going to attend that, but I'm going to explore the city a little bit. Maybe go to a couple breweries, maybe get some food.
Brewery guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Figure it out. Haven't been in Indy before. Just got to meet up with somebody, figure something out.
There you go. There you go. Well,
Sunday, we're going to be right back at it, though.
Right back at it, man. And hey, a shout out to Spin here. You see his Twitter handle right there at the bottom of our screen at Spin Davies. He's on site. He's got a ton of great content that's coming live. So that's practice footage, that is coach interviews, like quick stuff. I recommend, highly recommend hitting him with the follow there. And obviously to hit us with the follow, Cleveland Cavs on SI. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you're subscribing. If you're reading all of our content right below me here, si.com/NBA/Cavaliers. Head over there. We got a boatload of content there for you. The Cavs get off the mat here in Game 3. Get their first one, scratch to a 2-1 series deficit in a massive Game 3 victory. Spin, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, man, it's just been cool. This is my first time I've ever covered a playoff game on the road. So, special experience for me. It's been cool in here. Got a couple of nice snapshots. Again, trying to explore the city, but I'll look around the concourse a little bit more on Sunday, I think. But just getting the feel for Gainbridge Fieldhouse a little bit. It was cool earlier, too. We were walking up right after practice, and the Fever and Caitlin Clark were practicing right over there, too.
No way.
So it's all in the same vicinity, all in the same arena. So pretty cool place.
Oh, that's really cool. And for a hoop head like you, that is that's everything there. So, all right, everybody, everyone needs to get to bed, get the rest. PSA, don't forget it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So make sure you take care of that. And then make sure you're back with us on Sunday night. We'll be back post-game with another show just like this. I'll probably be behind the screen. We got to check out the schedule there, but Spencer German will probably be back in the saddle here. But Spin will be on site. So make sure you're with us post-game on Sunday night, whether it's win, loss, or draw. We will be here recapping it all. But for tonight, it's a win. Cavs 126, Pacers 104. Cavs scratch one win closer to evening this series up and getting it back to Cleveland with a chance to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. For my partner, Spencer Spin Davies, I'm Anthony Moeglin. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel.